Hello, everyone. It's Geezer Vin here from the Diamond Geezers, your gang green geezer here. Sorry, I haven't posted videos in a little bit. We had some administrative changes that we had to make. So, starting this up in a new channel, of course, still affiliated with the Diamond Geezers, but running it under my own YouTube channel called the Gang Green Geezer. Thank everybody for still following, liking, and subscribing and staying with me as we get the new videos up on the new channel. What I want to talk about today, cover a little bit about the Jets' victory over the Browns. That's 2 in a row. Talk a little bit about some of the news this week. Obviously, it's a very short week, and they have the upcoming game on Thursday night against the hated Patriots. Really quickly covering the Browns recap was a special teams victory. We got the wrong guy up there. There we go. We got Nwangwu and Williams this past week. Obviously, a punt return and a kickoff return, 99-yard kickoff return by Nwangwu, and the 75-yard punt return by Isaiah Williams. That pretty much set the stage for the Jets' victory against the Browns. From the way the quarterback play they got from from Fields, they would have had no chance to be even close in winning this game against the Browns. He was 6 of 11 for 54 yards, 42 of them coming on the screen pass to Breece Hall. That was a well-called play by Angstrand on a zero blitz, hitting Hall just before he gets drilled. Fields hung in there, got drilled, gets the ball out to Hall. All the blockers are in place, and he pretty much goes untouched for that touchdown. Pretty much the lone bright spot for the Jets offense all day. Again, that was definitely a special teams victory for the Jets this past Sunday. Fields, I mean, we've talked about it. You really can't assess what you have. I know the Jets got Mechie, and they got A.D. Mitchell, who should play tomorrow night's game against the Patriots. Wilson looks like he'll be out 3 to 4 weeks if you listen to Rich Cimini, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. AG definitely got pissed off at him for reporting that Wilson will be out 3 to 4 weeks when nobody else affiliated with the Jets organization, specifically AG, did report that. So we'll definitely talk about that. But you have Wilson, obviously, when healthy. You got Mechie, A.D. Mitchell. You look like Williams, Johnson. You look like, Smith, Mason Taylor, Breece Hall, Isaiah Davis. There's some young weapons, but you're not going to be able to tell or assess what they are and who could be a viable option for 2026 with Fields at playing quarterback. You just can't. I'm sick and tired of hearing all of the other podcasters and talking heads, belaboring the point of, oh, this is the worst Justin Fields has ever looked before he came. And it might be true. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. The only thing I can tell you is he was one of the worst quarterbacks to ever play the position before he came to the Jets. So let's not act like the Jets messed him up and all of a sudden, he was this, diamond in the rough and we just destroyed him. He was jettisoned from Chicago, unceremoniously jettisoned from Pittsburgh, and he will be, pun intended, jettisoned from the Jets most likely after the season. I really don't see, if they are trying to win games from here on out, which from everything they're saying and from the effort that they're giving, it looks like they are. And we'll also touch a little bit upon some conversations I've had and have heard about whether that's smart for the Jets to do to try to win games. Obviously looking at draft positioning. You can't assess. Fields is just that bad. Even against a putrid defense like the Bengals the week before, they still only had 244 yards. It's not like he lit them up for 350, 400 plus yards and just looked unstoppable. That team was just dreadful, and a 244-yard day was like a career day, almost a career day for the guy. He's not an NFL quarterback. I don't even think he's a backup quarterback. I've said that earlier. It was a lottery ticket, and like most lottery tickets, this one was a loser. You just got to move on from him. I don't care if you play Tyrod Taylor or Brady Cook. I truly don't care at this point. Taylor, I feel at this point gives them the best chance to win games in 2025. They've won 2 in a row, but the way they've won, you went up against the worst defense in the Bengals, coming back from a long ways down to come back and steal that game. And you had the 2 special teams touchdowns in this game, also got 6 sacks in this game. The special teams play is not sustainable. The sacks might be. I'm not saying you're going to get 6 sacks a game, but that at least I think is more sustainable in part of a formula than obviously relying on 14 points a week coming from your special teams in the return game. That's not a recipe that's repeatable moving forward. And then the problem is you're just running a quarterback out there that just can't play the position. He was, for all those talking heads, oh, look how horrible he is with the Jets. Pittsburgh, the bastion of consistency in the NFL, one of the most stable franchises in the history of the NFL. 3 head coaches in 50 some odd years. They were 4-2 with Justin Fields last year. 4-2. And they benched him for Russell Wilson. That same Russell Wilson who they let go after the season. The same Russell Wilson who signed with the Giants and lost his job to Jackson Dart. And now this past week with Jackson Dart getting injured and Russell Wilson coming in and looking just as bad as we saw him before that, lost his job, it looks like this week, to Jameis Winston. That same Russell Wilson. That franchise at 4-2 got rid of Justin Fields. Said, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. We're going to sit you and play this guy because maybe he throws a better deep ball. Okay. Was that so? If Chicago, who had him, couldn't do anything with him, Pittsburgh, he actually had a winning record, and still they sat him and pulled him. There was not much on the free agent market this offseason, and the Jets took a swing. People are talking about the money. First of all, it's not yours, so stop worrying about it. It's not your friggin' money. And I always hear, unless money's being spent that ties the team up from doing something that can really help them, then bitch about money. Short of that, if that's not happening, who cares? You're not paying it. So just move on from mentioning it. And in this, nothing happened in this case. There was no signing Fields. I believe his starting salary is in the bottom third of starting quarterbacks in the league. So it's not like they paid him a big amount of money. They gave him 2 years, took a shot. Doesn't look, you missed. That's it. Good. Move on. They made the moves to get a lot of draft capital. Going to the winning part, people say, oh, they win. They're not going to be in position to draft a quarterback this year. Well, looks like some of the quarterbacks, there's not any one clear. There's no Trevor Lawrence. There's no Andrew Luck. There's no Peyton Manning. There isn't that generational guy, at least that, again, has presented himself at this point. And nobody knows who are coming out. They may all go back. Mendoza may go back. Simpson may go back. Moore may go back. And then there'll be an even more loaded 2027 class when the Jets have 3 first-round picks in that draft. So the Jets, this upcoming draft, if either they don't have if one or a handful of these quarterbacks come out, you don't think any of them are the guy that's going to lead your franchise for the next decade, then move on. Use the picks that you have to either accumulate more picks or build a team around the quarterback you'll pick in 2027. Because let you in on a little secret, folks. If they don't pick a quarterback in 2026, even if they do, that quarterback is more than likely not going to start or play much that year. And that is just fine with me. We've seen a lot, there's very few quarterbacks that come in, start right away, have success, and stay successful. They might have a great year and then start petering out. Most times they miss right off the bat, or they'll miss with the Jets and 3 or 4 franchises removed. And that's another thing. Enough with the Sam Darnold shit, because the dude is 4 teams removed already. So stop blaming the Jets. Jets didn't mess it up there. Go at Carolina. They had him next. Go at San Francisco. They had him after that. Go at Minnesota, who coming off a highly successful season last year, let him walk for J.J. McCarthy. May work out in the long run, but in the short run, maybe not the best move. Working out well for Seattle right now. So you got to stop. Zach Wilson, yes, he stunk when you took him, and he still stinks wherever he is. Darnold's success is far removed from when the Jets had him. Geno Smith had some success and looks dreadful with the Raiders right now. Got the same head coach. Maybe doesn't have the same pieces around him. Who the hell knows? Maybe because he got his bag. He's good. And we saw the best of him in Seattle. We don't know. But the problem is these guys have to stop pointing at the Jets. Yeah, they missed on those picks in the moment. But the fact that these guys have had success elsewhere, they're so far removed from being with the Jets. Blame the 1 or 2 teams that had them. Giants had Geno Smith. Other teams had these guys. I listed who had Darnold, but you never hear anybody saying, oh, they screwed up. These guys screwed up with letting Darnold go. Sometimes it's just at the right place at the right time. The Jets, unfortunately, since Namath, have been at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's hard to explain that they haven't even walked into a franchise quarterback since then. The closest that they did was Pennington. That's the closest they came. Ken O'Brien was a solid quarterback when I was a kid. The one thing he's remembered for is they didn't take Dan Marino. Went in the same draft as Dan Marino, and they bypassed Marino for him. Unfortunately, that's what he'll be remembered for. But you guys got to stop. Enough with the Darnold. The Jets blew it on Darnold, and stop. Just if you're gonna say that, then say in the same breath what Carolina did, what the 49ers did, what the Vikings did, because there's more recent. He was more recently with those teams than he was with the Jets. So just move the hell on from that. It's such easy and lazy commentary. It gets me sick to listen to because I'm screaming as I'm listening to it. Like, he's been gone from the Jets for so long. Stop bringing it up. And then also stop saying, well, the Jets have been here before. Yes, we've been here before with accumulating picks and having so many picks. We have been here before. The fans have been here before. This regime has not been here before. Darren Muji, Aaron Glenn, this is their first time being there with the Jets. The only we in the scenario are we, the fans, the ones who have sit and suffered with this franchise for some for 10 years, some for 20, myself for 40 years, suffering watching this. And with some of my Giza pals, Ray, Pete, Carlos, almost 50 years with the same suffering. I think one of them actually might have been a kid when the Jets won the Super Bowl. I'm not sure if he remembers. The others, I don't think they remember it. Me, wasn't born when they won it. Haven't seen them make a Super Bowl in my lifetime. Pass that fandom on to my own son. which could be viewed as some form of child abuse by passing that on. But you know what? It's a rite of passage. My dad did it with me. I did it with my son. It's lazy reporting, people. Stop saying we've been here before with this team. We, as fans, have seen this. This regime, we have not seen it yet with this regime. And so far, the moves they've made, can anybody show me one that's really, I mean, maybe some of the late round picks they made last year, the 6th, 7th round, maybe, okay, but Membu, Mason Taylor, Malachi Moore, Smith, the trades, Phillips, Briggs, the Sauce trade where they get the 2 1s and A.D. Mitchell, the Carter trade where they get out from under that contract, again also out from under the Sauce contract, and they also get John Mechie, the Quinnen trade, getting and both of those two guys former 2nd round picks. The Smith, a former 1st round pick that they got from the Cowboys in the Quinnen trade, plus all the picks that they've accumulated. Can't really complain yet about the moves that this guy has made. There's a plan, and it looks like there's a plan. It looks like it's working. The effort that this team is still giving forth, it's still there. They easily could have mailed it in, especially this past week against Cleveland. Cleveland came in with one of the best defenses in the NFL. You have a quarterback that can't throw for even 60 yards. I can't. I just can't understand that. If he just threw screens to Breece Hall all day, he'd easily get 100 yards plus. If he just did that, if they just called screen after screen after screen, and maybe eventually do a play action, if you threw it for 10 screens in a game, short pass, anything, it's almost impossible not to get to 100 yards in this day and age. I believe he's done it 4 times this season alone. 54 yards in that last game, 42 on one pass. He may not sit because it's a short week, and I get the whole people are frustrated with Glenn not naming a starter. I don't care, because the fact that he doesn't name one is because he doesn't really have one. If he had one, we'd all know who the starting quarterback is. He doesn't really have one. So if this is what he wants to do, he doesn't want to tell us, and the people in the club, in the locker room know who the starting quarterback is, that's fine. I see some of the reporters getting all ticked off. Why? Because he's not acting the way you want him to act. Who gives a shit? Let's shake it up a little. Yes, we all know if he doesn't eventually start winning, that kind of those antics will wear thin very, very quickly. Takes us into the whole this past week where I guess Rich Cimini reported that Garrett Wilson was going to be out 3 to 4 weeks, which if he was going to be out 4 weeks, they just would IR him, which they still might. But that didn't come from anybody on the Jet side, specifically Glenn didn't mention it. It seemed to be ticked off at his presser yesterday where he told the rest of them, I'm not going to talk about injuries. If you want to talk about injuries, go ask Rich Cimini. Now, I don't know if someone from the MRI facility gave him a heads up, if someone from the organization gave him a heads up. Who the hell knows? Who the hell cares? Everybody's saying, I don't know why Glenn wants to pick this fight. I didn't really see it as much of a fight. You want to break news? You want to report injuries? Go ahead. Ask him. He knows more than I do. He's reporting what the injuries are. You can see it as petty. I see it as his way of saying, you know what, I have a way that I want to do things. And get with it, people. Maybe sometimes you cover this franchise for 20, 30 years yourselves. Maybe that loser mentality stays with you as well. And you don't recognize when someone's, you bitch when someone's trying to change the way that the organization is being run and is going to be perceived. And because it's not all light and fluffy and exactly the way you want it, you don't understand what's going on. Well, you haven't seen winning in a while either. So I'll give him. He gets the benefit of the doubt until he doesn't deserve it anymore. As far as I'm concerned, they still get the benefit of the doubt because you're seeing improvement. You're seeing them still try. You're seeing the effort still there with this team when it's very easy that they could have mailed it in, especially trading away not so much the Sauce grade, but the Quinnen, trading of Quinnen, who was the the elder statesman, the leader in the locker room, especially the leader on the defense. That was the one, and a lot of commentators did say that that's the one they were worried about. That's the guy being traded that they were worried about, maybe losing the locker room or not being able to keep it together. But as Will McDonald told Aaron Glenn during the week after the trades, I'm going to still stay relentless. 4 sacks he had this past week. The team came to play. They're definitely going to be missteps. You're playing a lot of young guys, a lot of rookies in your backfield. Unfortunately, Az Thomas, he'll be out this week. He's in the concussion protocol. Took the hit. It was a friendly fire by Sherwood. Caught him under the face mask right in the jaw. Not put him out. Looked a lot scarier than thankfully it turned out to be. But he for sure is not going to be playing, especially with the short week. It looks like Garrett for sure is not playing this week, according to Rich Cimini. He won't be playing Thursday. He'll be out with the knee injury. So that takes us to the preview for the Jets and Pats this week. It would have been a tough game on a regular week. It's going to be even tougher on a short week. This Pats team looks like they found their quarterback. It's amazing how things go when you find your quarterback. Looks like they found their quarterback. Vrabel's got this team firing on all cylinders. The Jets are going to have all that they can do just to try to hang into this game. What I don't want to see a blowout. I don't want to see them just whitewashed. I hope that they're able to, hang into this game, play to your strengths. I give Fields a half. I'm sorry. At this point, you want to keep him starting. I know it's a short week. I don't know how healthy Taylor is. We haven't heard anything about that. I don't know where Brady Cook is in his development as well. I don't know. So we'll find out on Thursday what the quarterback situation is. I'm assuming Fields is going to start again, especially with a short week. But he should be on a very short leash. If it's more of the same, staring down receivers, not throwing people open, holding on to the ball too long. If it's more of the same, no hesitation, Aaron. Just pull him out. Put in whoever. I don't care who his backup is. If his backup is not ready, then he shouldn't be the backup. So if Cook is backing him up this week, don't tell me Cook's not ready to go in the game. That's why you left Fields in if Fields is ineffective. If Cook is your damn backup and Fields is ineffective, then put Cook in the damn game. Or else you're going to hear from the world about it. And I know you may not give a shit, but that's what will get people to turn on you real quick. If we start hearing that. I don't care so much about, I never said they'd be proud of us so soon. We're still here. And we'll be here long after he's gone. And hopefully he's not gone for a long time because that means he'd be successful. But we've been here before him. We'll be here after him as Jets fans. It's what we do. But what we want to see, if everybody's putting the effort forward to win games, if Fields is not getting it done, and if Cook is his backup, then put Cook in a damn game and see what he has. If he's backing him up, that means you're telling us he's ready because he's a play away from getting into that game. Not Fields' bad play. That's a given and will likely happen. An injury away, a play away from being the quarterback in that game if he's the backup. So if he's the backup, if Taylor is not healthy enough to back up Fields and Cook is the backup, then that means you're saying to us as fans, he is ready to play in an NFL game. He is ready to lead this offense because he's backing up a quarterback. That's the nature of what the backup is. He's always a play away from being the starter. And in this case, with our quarterback Fields, he's a play away because of injury and ineffectiveness. So we want to Glenn, I want you to put if Fields is ineffective, you cannot continue to throw him out there. And if you're going to call play, unless you're going to call, turn into a wishbone offense, call, more RPOs, more running plays, short passes that try to turn the tide because he's obviously he's not a pocket passer. So if you're designed your offense and you're calling plays thinking he's going to be a pocket passer, you've already lost. He's not been able to do it. And if you told him that you were going to let him do it when you signed him, well, tough shit. You saw enough to tell you can't do it. Definitely can't do it here, and you're not going to learn it fast enough to be an effective quarterback or effective pocket passer in 2025. So guess what, buddy? Whatever the heck was successful for you in the past, we got to do the same thing. If Engstrand and Glenn and the organization does not want to run that type of offense, then sit the man down, put somebody else in there, put Cook or Taylor in there to play third string Fields and say, hey, buddy, you got your money. You got your guaranteed money. We took a swing with you. We missed. We won't get you hurt so that you could sign somewhere else and with someone else in 2026. Call it a day. Call it a day. We'll be fine. Jets fans have seen far worse. But you can't keep trotting him out there when he's giving you no shot to win with the way he's playing against tougher teams. And you're never going to be able to evaluate, again, A.D. Mitchell, Metch. You're not going to be able to evaluate these guys. Mason Taylor's further development. Because you got a guy who just can't play the position. So how do you know what you have for 2026 when you got a guy who's completing 6 passes a game for not even 100 yards? And even at his best, it's 200, 220, 240 yards. I mean, come on. Come on, Flacco at 50 years old put up almost 500 yards against the Bears. I mean, I'd rather that. I honestly would rather that because Flacco behind this offensive line, I bet you would be a whole lot more effective than the shit we're throwing out there. So give him a half. That's it. He gets another half. Fields gets a half against this Patriots team, who right now they're 8-2, a lot further along than people thought they'd be this year. Took out the Bills early this season. Their strength of schedule hasn't been not like they've been knocking out, the top teams in the league. They're beating who's in front of them. They took out the Bills already once. It was a tough game against a good Bucs team, and they in Tampa, and they outlasted them in that game. The young running back Henderson is going to be looking to run wild on this Jet team that has been struggling against the run. I think the Jets just simply keep doing. You had a strong game last week against the run, against Judkins and that Cleveland team who have been running wild the last few weeks. You shut him down. Obviously, Gabriel, we don't know what he's going to be, but Drake May is playing like a potential MVP candidate right now. So it's going to be definitely for this Jet secondary and defense a step up in the caliber of quarterback they're playing this week. So we'll see where the secondary is. Obviously, with AZ Thomas hurt, they're going to be shuffling in that secondary. You might have Brownlee playing the other corner with maybe Adams or somebody playing in the slot. They got the corner that they traded for from the Chargers. They'll have a team. They'll be ready to play. They'll be expected to perform. It's going to be tough sledding. It's going to be a tough game for them to win. But for me as a fan, what I really want to see is I'm hoping for a victory, but stay competitive. Stay competitive. Keep fighting no matter what. One thing I don't want to see is the Patriots team and players laughing it up on the sideline around halftime or early in the third quarter when it's just you're playing out the string and hoping nobody gets hurt by the end of the game. I've seen that too many times especially against this franchise. Don't want to see that again. Stay competitive, keep fighting, and that's what's showing, at least me, that Aaron Glenn's message is getting through to these players. They're still fighting, they're still competing, they're still playing smartly. I know they're a little bit high on the penalty count this past week, but other than the big pass interference penalty, weren't really a lot of crushers out there. And it's to be expected when you make a lot of moves, you're bringing in new people, playing more younger people, you're going to have that happen. But the offensive line is playing very stout. They did a great job against that Cleveland defense. Even with the two taking off put up 27 points. I know 2 of them were on special teams touchdowns, but they were able to establish a running game against that team that doesn't allow a lot of rushing yards. Now this week they're going against the best rushing defense in the league. You got to get Breece Hall minimum 25 to 30 touches. I don't care how you do it. You can't be 18 carries, 1 or 2 catches. No. It's got to be 18 carries, 5 to 7 catches, 20 carries, 5 to 7 catches. It's got to be. He's obviously your main weapon, and he looks like he's got that gear is back. The gear, he's far enough removed now from that ACL injury. He looks like he's got that gear back where when he puts his foot down, I think he was on that screen pass. I think he almost hit 21 miles an hour on that run. And that was also with little juking and jiving. I think if he was on a dead sprint, he probably would have exceeded 21 miles an hour. So looks like he's got some juice back. Get him the ball. Get your playmakers the ball. It seems that simple. In the 2 victories, you got your playmakers the ball in each of those games. They made plays to get you victories. It's not that hard. Well, it shouldn't be that hard. Now, if your quarterback is not able to get them the ball, then you move him aside and you put someone in there who can do it. That simple. It is that simple. Stop making this more difficult than it needs to be. Don't have to show anybody out there that you're the smartest people in the room. You already got the jobs. Now manage to win. Don't manage not to lose. Very simple. If you want to see managing not to lose, go watch the Indiana-Penn State game this past weekend. Penn State with nothing to lose, managed that game at the end not to lose it. They didn't call plays to try and win it, and they lost. The Jets, right now 2-7, got 2 wins in a row. I'm going to bring up the victory Nacho here. Put him up. Before we got the first victory, now we got a second victory. Definitely going to put him up there again. That's my dog Nacho. He's still wearing a bandana. He's actually sleeping here right next to me. Hopefully nobody's sleeping listening to this, but it's definitely he's gonna keep wearing it. Took him to the groomer today. Told him, hey, make sure that bandana's on when I come pick him up. Don't put one of your bougie foo-foo bandanas on him. When I come get him, I want to see that Jet bandana on. I actually told him because they've won 2 in a row since I put it on. Does that mean they're going to win a third? I don't know. But until they lose, the bandana stays on the dog. Again, thank everybody for liking and subscribing. I'm still getting a new channel worked out, so I appreciate everybody's patience and staying with me. It's again a short week this week. Jets play tomorrow night against the Patriots. I'll definitely have a reaction either shortly after the game or later in the week. Based on hopefully I'll be putting Nacho up there again for a third victory. And for all you fans out there, especially had a very spirited conversation with Ray from the Diamond Geezers about my thoughts on if the Jets should keep winning against his thoughts. I won't share any of that here now because I'm going to have him on a future episode where we're going to go back and forth and show everybody what that discussion looked like, and then you guys can weigh in for yourselves in the comments what you think, who you think is right, and what direction you think this Jet team should be going in. So again, thank everybody for liking and subscribing. Looking forward to the game tomorrow night. Have the reaction for you shortly thereafter. Until then, everyone, take care.